Let's touch on a couple of things very quickly here. Boston and the entire state is facing a migrant crisis. Finding safe shelter space becoming more and more difficult. City and state leaders have to find solutions for this because this issue was here. What initiatives are you taking?
It's all hands on deck. I was on the phone last night with the lieutenant governor at 10:30 talking about this very issue because we need to find a way to make sure we are a right to shelter state. Folks who are here, whether they've just got here or they've been here for decades, who find themselves unhoused or in a position of homelessness, we have an obligation to provide. And so it's exploring all options. It's making sure that we are looking at developments that are market rate developments to see if there are ways that we can turn them into income restricted or temporary places to house new arrivals. And I do want to give credit to the state. This is a hard problem that not many other states have been dealing with, and that we have been trying to address it with the moral compass that I think is required at this moment. It's resource intensive. A lot of folks who are providers are experiencing burnout, so we do need to be very careful. But there's a lot of Boston has a large immigrant population. My parents are immigrants from Haiti, very large, and these are people who want to work. I want to say that people who want work authorizations, and they have the legal right to work. It's just taking forever.
Yeah, the governor actually talking about
to get those authorizations.
Getting the federal government on board with this already.
Just talking to Senator Warren the other day about what is it that we can do to get these federal authorizations through quicker. And look, I'm a local politician, right? It's potholes, it's the lights, those are the things that matter. But we need to also get this issue right because we have our labor shortage here. And traditionally, how have we dealt with labor shortages as a city and as a country? It has been via immigration. And we have people here who want to work, who want to serve as bus drivers, who want to staff our hospitals. We have a nursing shortage. We have all of these shortages, and we have people who want to work. It's about that. Filling that gap with creativity. So I reached out to my alma mater at Harvard to see how is it that they can really help and help us really solve these problems creatively.
Let's talk about the NAACP. It wrapped up its national convention in Boston last week. Thousands of people attended. The first time the convention has been in Boston in more than 4 decades. How do you think the city did?
I think the city did really terrific. It was such a great moment to really showcase Boston and the dynamic, diverse city that we truly are, that sometimes because of our history, because of a very tense and really real racial history, is oftentimes overlooked. People are like, oh, are there people of color, are there black people in Boston? Like, what are you talking about? We're everywhere. And so it was a really great way for us to display our city, ourselves, the richness of our black community, which includes African Americans, people from the Caribbean, Africans, and really display our black-owned restaurants and lounges, me and some of my fellow elected officials every night, which was very tiring, partly responsible for my voice right now. We supported a black-owned nightclub and lounge every night that included Estella's downtown, Savor downtown, Grace by Nia's. We were at all of these places in downtown Boston, FET Boston, to really show and highlight the work that we've been doing to really support entrepreneurs, especially in black and brown communities and in all spaces, to really thrive. Boston is a fun city, and it should be that, and we should continue to think about how we can be a fun city. So it was really, really wonderful, both from Park 54 and Hyde Park, the Pearl in Dorchester, all these spots that we have to celebrate.
Which is all wonderful. You say about Boston is a fun city, and I know we're out of time, but Boston is not a late night city, and I know you want to change that.
We need to make that so. And so even with the World Cup that's happening, we thought about other ways that we can make bars and restaurants in certain neighborhoods for a limited time open 24 hours because these games come on at awkward times.
3 in the morning or whatever.
And we have so much work to do. I think about when I was 24 years old, I was kicked out of a club because I was black. And I think about how disheartening of an experience that was for me and for all of my fellow students. And I think there's this hostility, this understanding that Boston is this place that isn't fun, especially for people of color, but where that narrative is changing. And I'm so glad that people saw that with NAACP convention. And we continue that work every day with liquor licenses, with the creativity, with our nightlife czar, who is amazing. We have so much potential in this city. We're not other big cities. We are Boston. We will always be Boston. But how do we make that Boston become alive so that everyone wants to stay here, that we retain this incredible talent that we attract because of schools that we have here.
So great to have you in the chair this morning.
Thanks
for your time. It's great to see you. Boston City Councilor Ruthie Louison.